Howdy folks, and welcome back to more Colorado Rockies here in July. Again, we have July to go through. We talked about it at the end of the last episode. Cincinnati, San Diego, 7 games, all at home, where we really need to win those ones. You have a bunch of teams under 500 or at 500 we're going against as well. This needs to be a really, really good month for us. Right now, at number, or I think tied for the NL West lead. Yep, we are tied for the NL West lead with the Padres. We might kind of take a look at this series a little more in depth because it's going to be very important for us. But yeah, so we have the trade deadline coming up around the end of the month. We have the draft up here next week. We have prospect and all-star festivities coming on in the middle of the month. Let's check some guys that we are going to be looking at to potentially trade for some ideas that we're kicking around. First thing we're going to be looking at is closer. The first guy we have on our list is Sebastian Sosa. Really, in the American League, everyone is kind of in it except for Boston, Baltimore, and the Yankees. So Sebastian Sosa, formerly on the A's. Again, this is a relief pitcher who has been very, very good the last couple of years and really, for the most part, pretty solid in his career. This would probably be a little more of a premium price. Does struggle with walks a bit, but keeps the ball out of the yard. Has a great FIP. Adds a righty into our bullpen and someone that I would have probably a lot more faith in as our closer. This would move Calderon more into a high leverage lefty specialist role. So while we're checking on the worst team in the league, shout out the Yankees. Yanquiel Fernandez, again, we traded our boy away. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year. Having an okay season. Kind of on par to what he's been doing the last few years with us, playing first base a little bit more than just the DH spot. So shout out Yanquiel Fernandez. I do miss him. It was tough. Another guy we could target, Yohan Duran, who's been here absolutely filthy for the Brewers. The one thing is that contract's going to be a little bit interesting, especially with kind of our budget constraints over the next couple of years. I don't know if I want to pick up that much money. Maybe we get him now, try to flip him or see what we can do. But this is probably the best closer in the league. And if we can get that, Milwaukee struggling mightily this year, that would be another guy to go after. All right, looking starting pitching wise, I feel like those really pitching is what we need to go and out and get. Luis Garcia could be an option on the final year of his deal with the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, we just talked about them. 3.82 ERA. Has been fine. Don't look at the win-loss, obviously. Let's look at more of these 3 stats here. FIP is good. Home runs per 9 are down. Strikeouts per 9 have been kind of in line over the last couple of years. Already basically putting up what he did last year in terms of WAR and half of the batters faced. He's been excellent. This is a guy that we might be able to look at, maybe push someone to the bullpen, get a veteran, a guy who's won a couple championships before, put him on our roster. Another guy we can look at is Garrett Whitlock from the Braves, on his hometown Braves the last couple of years. He's been basically a tale of every other year. I know him well from his time in Boston, but it was a really good 2025, an okay 26, a very, very solid 2027, a couple of years in 28, 29, and a very, very, very good start to his 2030. Maybe this is a guy that we can pull up, maybe even be a long bullpen guy in the playoffs. $11 million this year. This is a guy maybe to keep your eye on. Pair of guys we can look at from the Boston Red Sox team we made some deals with before: Kyle Bradish and David Peterson. Peterson contracts up after this year. This will be his second and last year in Boston. He goes through from Colorado, so there you go. Home run prevention's one of his better skills. A 3.59 ERA, good strikeout guy, lefty to add. 9 Ks per 9, a FIP at 3.41. This is a guy we can look at. Kyle Bradish has 2 more years on his deal, but he can get a big haul if they go early on him. Not going to strike a whole bunch of guys out, but we'll keep the ball in the yard, keep guys off of first base via the walk. Has a really great FIP. He's having just a phenomenal season right now. Through 120 innings, a triple crown candidate. Well, I don't know if he'll have strikeouts for that, but ERA and wins basically already surpassed his wins from last year on the final year of a very, very, very good deal. This could be a guy we bring in to really bolster our pitching rotation. Our dark horse guy to look at, Ryan Pepio in Double A for some reason for the Giants and has pitched only in Double-A this year. He's obviously killing because he's incredible. Hasn't played with the Giants since being acquired from the Tampa Bay Rays this offseason. I don't know the issue, and he doesn't make a whole bunch of money. Maybe this is a guy we convert to closer, potentially. I think I really like his skills in that role. Dark horse guy to keep an eye on. Well, let's take a small detour from improving the team, and let's just look at what the team is right now. And here we are in a moment. Against Cincinnati, we're here in the bottom of the 8th. Juan Guerrero up. His first pitch is up. We are down by 1. Had a runner in scoring position, but Guerrero playing first base today. He will pop it up and end the inning, and we cannot tie this game up, at least in that at-bat right there. Vinny Garcia, he's out, and he is going to pick up the strikeout on Edwin Arroyo in the 9th inning. He's been a really good reliever for us, but we're going to let him get that one batter, bring in Gregory Santos, who is really locked in. Again, other than that one outing in the beginning of the year, he has been fantastic for us in ERA right around 2. And with a first pitch he throws, goes to Reese Hines, and what a play by Adael Amador. He just lays out. He's been on the last couple of All-Star teams, and with the All-Star break coming up shortly, I'm sure he is going to be on that list as well. Not quite sure, but I know he is one of the tops in the National League in voting for second baseman. Gets the out there, and then Tommy Edman has popped up, so a clean 9th inning for us. We did use 2 pitchers, and got help from a web gem from Amador, but we go into the 9th inning, and the Rock-Offs trying to do the damn thing, and they have Juan Amador and Nolan Jones to do it, top of our order. A couple contact guys and some power in there as well. Any one of these guys can end this game in an instant. And we are going against Andrew Moore, who has been the best reliever in all of the game, and he proves it here. A deep pop-up, but not quite deep enough. Wins the game for Cincinnati. This is a team that is pretty good, and we are looking at in terms of maybe wild card / playoff opportunity, and we lose it there. Next night, we're bringing Jazz Chisholm off of the bench, is 961 OPS, and we're in a very similar situation. Andrew Moore down by 1 here in the 9th inning. Didn't let the leadoff man get on. Chisholm pops it up, and that is taken care of by Cincinnati. They are trying to win both of these games. We'll see if we can do anything to stop them. Quan up now with Drew Romo on first base. Moore has been absolutely scintillating, we'll say. That's a good word. Two-seam fastball back up the middle. Stephen Kwan hits it well, as he always does. And now we have some runners in scoring position. And Nolan Jones, unfortunately, beats it in the ground. Third baseman applies the tag. Over to first. The Reds will win this one. And we're not going to forget this one. Who knows if we play these guys again in the playoffs. They're a very good team. We've obviously had a history with them in the past, obviously, with Winchester and Bobby White. And maybe we can add to that quote-unquote rivalry here. But as of right now, they get the upper hand on us. Here we are at the draft. We'll get after the draft and after the All-Star festivities. We'll kind of see where we are, but it has not been July has not been kind to us. We have been losing a lot of games that we should not be losing, and losing games that we need to be competitive in. And I'm just trying to wipe that away, focus on the draft. Here are some guys. We'll just do a quick overview of everybody. Justin Leal seems like the best guy in the draft. He is a reliever, though, so it kind of does cap his potential. We would not be drafting him in our first pick. This is a second round, supplemental round, kind of extra. This is a dessert pick. You don't need it, but it's nice to have. Obviously, adding some really good bullpen arms, but Justin Leal looks like the real deal. Holyfield, 4 really good pitches. 3 of them are selected to be plus. That fastball reaches up near triple digits. The slider gets into the 90s. A really good pitcher. Oliver Ortiz. He is selected or projected to go 10th. We have him 3rd on our board. Really good, guy that works deep into count. Does have a 3-pitch mix. Alfonso Matos, our 7th overall guy on the board. And these are guys that we've really took some time into scouting. He is injured, though. So that's going to drop him a lot further. But we do like what he has to offer if we deem that injury's not that big a deal. Britt Foster, first guy that we're truly looking at with our first pick, number 21 in the draft. 22 prospect on the big board, our number 8. Keeps the walks down, has 3 tremendous pitches. We can add another pitch. We've done that in the past. We'll continue to do that. Everything looks like it's going to be in a really good spot. 18 years old as well. Oliver Duran. Looks like he's going to be really, really, really good from the jump. How far does he fall? Do we think that it's enough? This is the guy that can definitely jump up and help a team next year almost immediately. But is the potential there? Do we think he's a finished project at 23? It's going to be interesting to tell. Jose Cedeno, a guy that we picked up on. It seems like no one really has a whole bunch on him. Throws gas, 3 pitches as a closer. He pitched in some community college or D2 in Texas. We really like Jorge Cedeno. This is a guy that we maybe be able to grab later on the draft and maybe get a steal out of. Parker Hamilton, again, another starting pitcher at 18 years old, keeps walks and has really good control, adds really good velocity, 4+ pitches. Love to see it. Leandro Bonilla, this is probably my favorite guy, the guy that I hope I get to pick. Love the secondaries at catcher and third base. Plays primarily first base in college from Panama. But he looks really, really solid. Really good contact bat, big arm strength, the guy that we can move around. This would be my pick if I were to handpick any of these guys. Jackie Meyer, another third baseman. Lower on the potential, but higher on the starting overall. Again, this is just a college senior. Might not be a superstar in our league, but will be a very solid contributor pretty immediately. Charlie Johnson, another guy that we have done some good research on. We actually don't like him as much as the rest of the league likes him, but we still do like the profile. Has 4 decent pitches. Can go deep into games. Has a lot of break on his pitches, which we like. So we like him. Carlos Maravil, a guy that we think another guy that we have that we've done a really good job at finding gems late in the draft. Guys that scouting in areas that people might not be really scouting in. And Carlos Maravil seems like a guy that falls into that demographic. However, does struggle with control and struggle with keeping the ball out of the ballpark. But velocity, this kid throws gas. You gotta love it. You gotta start throwing 99. That's coveted. Mohamed Rains, lefty, however injured. A guy that we are intrigued by, but again probably will skipping out on if he's available with 21. Jason Bryandell, another guy that we think that we have a jump on that no one else does. 90 are really good at control. Velocity isn't super up there, and actually not a lot of variation. Maybe we try to really work on getting that changeup a little bit slower. He looks really solid as an 18-year-old righty. Another guy that we might be able to sneak on get later. Mario Gonzalez, this is a catcher that has fallen down. A great defensive catcher. He could go early. This guy we did our due diligence on. We always, we're trying to find a new catcher. We have a couple of guys in our system, but not a true stud, I don't think. Brian St. John, the guy we did some scouting on late. We kind of really like what he has to offer with that. We'll see where he falls. He might go before we get the pick. Walter Yamazaki, we talked about him. Really like the potential on him. I really think he can get a nice power bat with a really big arm playing the corner outfield. Would like to take a swing at him maybe with our second pick. Milt Chavez, kind of the same similar situation. A little more overall well-rounded, better athlete, but would be a second pick candidate for us. Stuart Burke in that same field. Doesn't have exactly the bop as Yamazaki, doesn't exactly have the athleticism of Chavez, but kind of just an all-around, well-rounded dude. 4 years at Rutgers, and we do like him. I think he's someone we can really heavily consider with our second or third pick. Wilson Billings, another guy we think we are way ahead on him over than everybody else. We would love to get him in later on in the draft. Derek McCabe, not too much, but we loved what we started to uncover on him. Kind of got on him late out of high school. Maybe if he's there, this is a flyer pick later on. Rene Saucedo, we have him well ahead of everybody else, but he is injured. So maybe we don't really see that injury as an issue, but extremely fast, extreme power. That is his thing. If he's there late, we're going to be taking him. Pablo Herman, really solid, overall, well-rounded guy. Has some pop, a lot of speed in the outfield. We did a lot of these older outfield types We really like what we saw. This is another guy that we can look at, maybe our 4th, 5th pick. Jose Cosmo, we talked about him, kind of a hidden gem in this draft. I think we'll be able to get him later on and come away with a really good player here. All right, and I think that is it. We're going to go into the draft to see what the 2030 MLB draft has in store for us. So we pick number 21. It's Miami, LA, St. Louis, Boston, and Toronto. And we start this draft. First pick will be Will Rivera. A closing pitcher goes number 1. We have not seen that very often. He looks like a stud, however. So going in a weird direction to begin things is Miami. Oliver Duran. This is the guy that was number 2 on the big board for overall. He looks like a really solid guy, a third baseman, and that's the position that LA needs. He might be able to be starting for them next year. And Jarrett Morales. This is an odd pick, I think. Maybe is he related to Emery Morales? Kind of looks like him. This seems like a big reach. We had him 61st on our board, did some scouting. MLB had him 36 on his board. Look at his card. That's kind of what the projections are. Mario Gonzalez, that catcher that we were looking at, just in case he fell, really solid defensive catcher with some power. Kyle Teal will be leaving probably in free agency, so that's interesting. First guy that we're truly looking at, Oliver Ortiz. He is off the board. He goes to Toronto. Not the best pitch mix. Jackie Meyer, another guy we were really looking at, just a well-rounded bat, going to Chicago. Eduardo Escobar, don't know much about him. First baseman, looks like he has a tremendous amount of pop. He goes to the Angels. Jose Leon, he's a catcher, another one of those guys. He didn't really do too much on him. A little bit more, a better bat than Gonzalez, and kind of the same fielding, we think. And Leandro Bonilla, this is a guy that we're going to be looking at and seeing what he looks like, because I really, really, really wanted him. New York Yankees are up. They take Britt Foster. So our 2 basically picks that we would like to have taken with 21 go here. And Foster and Bonilla, kind of a long shot. Derek McCabe goes, and maybe Seattle was on to something. I did not think that they would be in on him, but they are in on him. So these 2 guys, I would have liked one of them at 21. We're going to get neither of them. They both go top 10. Solomon Douglas, a guy that was interesting. We didn't put too many resources into him. Felt we needed places elsewhere. He goes Charlie Johnston. He goes 2 picks later than he was projected. So another guy off of our board. And it's going to be interesting to see who we take, because I don't know if we have any true first round grades on anybody. Michael Villasmil? I don't know. He's second baseman. He didn't do too much in the middle infield. Charles Lee, first baseman prospect, 18 years old. He goes to Milwaukee. Mohamed Raines, he goes to Detroit, so that is an option off of our board as well. 4 more picks left to go before it is us. Brian St. John, another guy that probably we were going to look at. He no longer is on the table. So we're out on St. John. Milton Redding, he goes. Not a guy we had on our board, so our board kind of stays intact a little bit here. Texas, who do you got? Texas selects Damian Carlton. Another guy we did not do too much in the shortstop department, since we have a lot of middle infield already. And Chicago, they select Booker Hamilton. This might have been the pick. All right, here's what we have. We can go Justin Leal. I think I would love to see if we can save him for 38. I don't know if he's going to go 38. So now that I think about it, maybe we do take the closer. I'm really against the closers. Alfonso Montes, I don't love just because he's injured. Maraville could be it. Bryndale could be it. You know what? Do I go Sean Burke? Do I go Wilson Billings? I think those are 2. I'm going to do something I probably would never do. I'm going to go Justin Leal. I think we're going to go out and get, we think, the best player in the draft. And we're going to go out and get Justin Leal. He's going to be able to help us next year. He's going to be able to be plugged right into our bullpen. We're getting a little expensive there. This can help kind of offset some of those. So really with our next pick, we're looking to see if Stuart Burke is still there or Wilson Billings. We pick, I think, 38 and 52. So if one of those guys can still be there, we'd love that. We're going to go through the rest of this first round, then we'll meet you at our pick number 38. Walter Yamazaki, he goes. So that's one of those guys that we were looking at. Maybe hopefully he falls. He is off the board going to Arizona. Alfonso Matos, he's off the board. Again, the injured starting pitcher. Maybe would have been the pick, but I don't know. Especially with young pitchers in their arms, you don't want to risk anything. Another primary reliever goes. So that makes 3 in the first round. Sam Pittman, he goes. We did some scouting on him, but kind of wasn't too happy with the scouting we had done. Didn't have him in our final draft big board. Henry Gould goes to Pittsburgh, a contact-oriented left fielder with some good speed. Christian Valencia, a starter that we've looked at, opted out of the physicals. Kind of looks really good, but we were kind of tailing towards the back end of him. We were not really loving what we want for him. Milt Chavez goes. So, yeah, we really need Stuart Burke to be there, I think. We really need Stuart Burke to be there. And with the 30th pick, Russell Veras will meet you with our pick at 38. All right, we are on the clock here. Sammy Jansen went, and still up is Stuart Burke. We are going to take a lock in Burke at 38. And Stuart Burke, welcome to Colorado, my friends. We really like the potential on him. I think he could be a big key for us at some point in the future. All right, we are here at 52. Jorge Cedeno action with the pick before us. We have definitely some guys to be looking at. Bryndell and Maraville, we still think are kind of sleeper picks. We're going to pick up Wilson Billings here. We really like his potential. And we're going to jump on Wilson Billings and get the obligatory starter in the draft. At pick number 99, we have Maraville still on the board, Bryndell still on the board, Rene Saucedo still on the board, and Jose Cosmo still on the board. We're in round 3. We have 1, 2, 3 more picks. So we're going to get one, or we're going to lose at least one of these guys. And between Maraville and Bryndell, I'm going to go Maraville just with the velocity. So, Carlos Maraville, welcome to Colorado. To get off the board, so our kind of lock, I would say, for a guy we thought we were going to get. He goes to the Angels. We'll check up on him. Between Saucedo and Bryndell, we're going to go pick up Bryndell. Hopefully Saucedo is there for our pick in the 5th round. Jason Bryndell, Colorado Rockies. And Saucedo did not make it. He actually went a couple picks after us at 133. He was injured, so I'm not too worried about it. And no one left on our board. Let's see who we're going to pick with our next 2 selections. We're going to go Craig Bove, a guy that we've had some work on, under the radar looks like, and we're going to take another chance on a starting pitcher that looks to be pretty good. And Bryant Rodriguez, a catcher for the Dominican Republic. We will see what he's all about, it looks like. So, Bryant Rodriguez, welcome. He is our final pick. We signed all of our draft picks. We're going to look at ours, and then we're going to go around the league and kind of find out, just look at some of the guys we were targeting in the draft as well. Justin Leal, he looks pretty good. I feel like he'll be contributing on our team next year. A lot of the other guys, after further evaluation, they're probably going to be a little ways away. But I think we struck gold on a couple of them, Stuart Burke being one of them. Very fast, good fielding out the gate. We're going to be able to mold this hitting, really good contact against righties. We really like the selection of Stuart Burke. I'm very glad he was there when we picked at 38. And I'm also very glad that Wilson Billings was there when we selected him, I believe at 53, 58, whatever it was. He looks very good. Not going to strike out a lot of guys, but everything else kind of seems in a really good place. 4-pitch mix. All of them have decent velocity. Leal, again, we talked about his pitch mix as well. Very good. Carlos Maraville, we'll kind of see where he goes. We think he might actually be a little bit lower than projected, at least originally, but that's all right. Justin Bryndell, I think he's going to look really well. He's going to do really good at control, really good at putting balls and pitches in the right spots. Just might get hit around a little bit. Might not get too many swing and miss. So I feel like he could be an upside potential one day. Craig Bove, I believe that's how you say his last name. We think that we struck gold with him. The one thing is he's probably a bullpen guy. He's not going to go very deep in starts. His stamina, well, just at 20 years old, maybe that goes up. We think maybe he is a long relief / multi-inning weapon, and that's fine for a guy you pick in your third or your fifth, fourth pick. So that's fine by me. Bryant Rodriguez, the flyer at the end of the draft. I think he's going to be all right. I think he could be something, maybe be a backup catcher or develop far enough for us to flip him one day, but not going to contribute anytime soon. He's going to be in rookie ball for a while, I think, but that is A-okay. I really like our draft. Let's check on some other guys we were looking and what other teams have done. Oliver Duran looks really good out of the box. We'll see how much he develops. This is number 2 overall pick from this last year, but a solid pick, I guess, for the Dodgers. Alfonso Matos, this is what he's looking like out of the box. Really good. I guess the injury concerns weren't too bad, as he has really good. People feel like he has some really good durability. He's going to be just fine. Might have been a fluke, might have just been a stinger, but I don't think we had the chance to draft him anyway. I think he went a little bit before us. But either way, it looks like San Diego got another pretty good pick. This is what Leandro Bonilla looks like. Again, really solid glove. Bat is contact oriented, but really like what he looks like. Would have loved to pick him instead of Leal. Not that I'm upset we have Leal, but again, this is the guy that I would have selected if we had the choice of anybody. And it goes to San Francisco, so we'll be seeing him for a long time. Also, look like they got a big steal with Juan Lopez on their 4th pick as well. This is what Mario Gonzalez looks like, that catcher that we selected, or we were looking to select. We think the bat's not going to be there. The fielding will be. Let's see what Boston has in it. Britt Foster, here's what he looks like. Going to give up a lot of hits, but it's going to keep walks off the board. 3-pitch mix. See how the Yankees develop him. This is what he's looking like. Charlie Johnson, another guy we had on the board. He went early to the Rays. Oliver Ortiz might be the best player in all the draft. He went 5th overall to the Blue Jays. This is what we would have wanted. 3-pitch mix, see if he can add to it, but we feel like he's going to be really, really, really good. Jackie Meyer, another guy we had on the board. Another third baseman we had on our board that the Chicago White Sox took. Probably best off that we didn't end up having to select him. Ahmed Raines went to Detroit. He was one of those guys who was injured, and that injury might actually affect him a little bit more than the other guy that San Diego got that already, I forgot his name, that we were looking at before, who was also injured. So Muhammad Raines, here's what he has to offer. Kansas City ended up taking Rene Saucedo deeper in the draft, and I'm glad we got our guy instead of him, because he does not look ready for prime time, at least right now. He has some time to develop, but the durability concerns looks like they're going to continue with him. Here's what Jose Cosmo looks like, and like we projected and thought he was going to be, he's going to be a really good player one day. How soon one day is definitely to be determined, but he looks like he has some pretty good stats at the moment for the Angels, and I think he has a lot of potential. The Athletics end up taking 2 of the guys we had on our board. Bryant St. John looks like he's not going. His ceiling's kind of where he's at. He's going to be really good day 1, really high contact, can play in the majors. Maybe right now, we don't know how good he's going to be in the long term. And Pablo German, a guy who has a little bit more upside. Still a ways away, more power-oriented, has that high speed. But 2 guys that we had in the outfield. Again, still glad we had Sean Burke. Derek McCabe, a guy that we thought no one else had on their radar. Looks like Seattle did, and they picked up a really good one. It's going to be a while until he is ready to develop another pitch at just 18 years old. But he looks like one day he can be one of those aces on a Mariners staff. Will Rivera is the number 1 overall pick, and maybe for good reason. He looks like he's going to be an absolute monster right out of the gate. Has high potential, add into that bullpen in Miami. And again, really odd that he was number 1 selection on a closer or reliever piece. But Will Rivera is going to have some good seasons in Miami. And just 19 years old, he's going to be up pretty early. Finally, Walter Yamazaki. Here's what we have. So again, I think we got the best possible draft. This wasn't a huge draft in terms of potential, a lot of people are saying, but everyone thinks that we have really hit it out of the ballpark yet again with our draft. Again, it is what it is. What can I say? We're just really good at drafting. This is what Yamazaki looks like. And there were a couple players, Milt Chavez and I think Booker Hamilton, I think his name was Booker Hamilton. They did not get signed. Those are 2 first-round picks that did not get signed by their respective teams. So they might be in a draft class sooner rather than later. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can maybe one-up and go get them. But that's kind of how the draft shakes out. We're here at the Home Run Derby, American League, National League, coming together, seeing which one has the most pop here in Houston this year. And here is a pan of our contestants, and let's look at the bracket, shall we? Jace Young, the 8th seed against Walker Jenkins. 1 seed, James won the 5 seed against Ronald Acuna Jr., the 4 seed. On the right side, O'Neal Cruz versus Jackson Holliday, and Corey Seager against Tristan Casas. No Astros in here, but it's going to be a fun home run derby. Let's see kind of round by round how it goes. Jace Young, James Wood advanced 20 home runs for Wood. O'Neal Cruz beats Holliday, and Casas one-ups Corey Seager, with Wood having 20 the most. Young defeats James Wood. He had 20 of his own, and O'Neal Cruz beats Casas, 19 of his. Jace Young versus O'Neal Cruz. Who's going to pull it away? And Jace Young is your champion. He had 17 home runs. The 8th seed, set the pace every single time. No one could catch up to him. Jace Young in Houston. He is going to come away with the Home Run Derby Championship in 2030. Yeah, 2030. Look at that. Jace Young. 463 his longest home run, hit 18, 20, and 17. That's a total of 57 home runs. So, yeah, really good showing. Let's check out this year's crop of all-stars. Starts with Paul Skeens, probably the best pitcher in the game, maybe best player in the game. Just absolutely crazy. The first few years of his career struggled, but he's been lights out. Back-to-back all-star appearances. He will start this game in Houston. Sho Imanaga, Dustin May, Sandy Alcantara with a 2.23 ERA. Probably the front runner for the Cy Young if you were to guess. And Andrew Painter round out your starters. Orion Kirkering, as well as Zach Thompson. Evan Phillips, Yohan Duran, Andrew Moore, Jojo Romero, and Jose Hernandez are your relief pitchers. Duran, 2.64 ERA. And look at that, Andrew Moore, a 1.08 ERA, has really had a great, solid 3 years as the closer for the Cincinnati Reds, and they have themselves a really good player here. Catchers are going to be Cuero, Alvarez, and Sherwood Winchester. Our buddy Sherwood Winchester continues to just have some really, really solid hitting seasons. Jefferson Cuero just signed a massive contract with the defending champion Phillies, and he's having probably a career year with Philadelphia, really tapping into some power. Dalton Rushing and Spencer Torkelson are your first baseman. Rushing already with 24 home runs through this point of the season, already shattering a career high in about 50 less games than last year, really tapping into the power. Adael Amador, our lone all-star representative this year. He's been great. Jordan Westbrook's also been very, very good, and Luis Garcia also has been pretty fantastic as well. And last year, a career year for Amador, kind of in that same ballpark, not getting on base at the same rate, but the home runs are there, the RBIs are there, the walks are a little bit lower like we mentioned, but really putting himself in rarefied air in terms of these seasons at second base. So already a good portion of the way through his WAR total from last year. Jackson Holliday, buddy, 26 home runs, batting 340, OPSing 1100. This is our best. This is the best player in the league. Just in case open and shut. Brian Hayes also doing really well, and Marco Luciano gets his first All-Star nod this year, and he's deserving of it, having a really solid season, already 21 home runs for the third baseman. O'Neal Cruz and C.J. Abrams, your shortstops. Lane Thomas in the outfield, Dylan Cruz, Max Clark in the outfield, and Ronald Acuna Jr., James Wood, and Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field, with Shohei Ohtani obviously being your DH, pitching as well. Checking his pitching numbers, not too great, striking out a whole bunch of guys, but giving up a lot of runs, but his hitting numbers are outstanding. Another season in the high 900s for him OPS-wise. The American League, Kyle Bradish, who might be your Cy Young at this point of the season. A guy that maybe we try and go out and get, especially with a season like this. Kyle Harrison behind him. Ricky Tiedemann, a very solid year as well. Another guy that maybe, hey, Toronto might be struggling. We're going to take a look at the standings pretty soon. Maybe Toronto wants to give up a guy who's entering free agency up next. And who knows, maybe we're the team to get him. Shane McClanahan continues to be an absolute beast. And Matt Roth, first time for him making the All-Star game with the Chicago White Sox. His second full year in the big leagues. Nick Sandlin, Tanner Scott, Jose Alvarado, Ben Joyce, Ron Marinaccio, Felix Bautista, and Garrett Crochet, old friend Garrett Crochet, mind you, are your all-stars in the bullpen, I should say. Kyle Teal, Luis Camposano, and Adley Rutschman, your catchers, with Kyle Teal just putting together a monster season in his contract year. Tristan Casas now with Oakland. Still don't like the sounds of that, but absolute beast. Already 81 RBI and 900 OPS. Absolute stud. Corey Seager moving to first base. Still an absolute powerhouse. And Vaughn making for the Yankees with 14 home runs over our good friend Young Keel Fernandez. I was blanking on his name. My apologies, Young Keel. Ozzy Albies at second base for the Astros. Nick Madrigal having a really good season with the Mariners. Junior Caminero, look at that. Look at these numbers. 367 batting average, OPS over 1,000. The two prime free agents, Holiday and Caminero, moving teams, and they're probably going to be the MVPs on their leagues and their new teams. Melvin Marte and Curtis Mead making a third base as well. Bobby Witt, Brooks Lee, absolute studs, both of them. Evan Carter, another stud. Colton Cowser and Harry Ford now in the outfield for the Mariners. Really big breakout season for him. This is what you like to see if you're a Mariners fan. Walker Jenkins, Heston Kjerstad, I believe his first All-Star appearance, getting now just a full-time at-bats in an outfield spot. 955 OPS, already a career high in just about everything. Really the breakout he deserved. Johnny DeLuca, Matt Wallner as well, and Marte and Vaughn making as your DH candidates. So now that we see that Adael Amador, our only All-Star representative, let's hop into the All-Star game. Amador is a starter tonight here at second base and voted as the best second baseman, at least having the best second base season in the National League, which is awesome to see. Some of our guys, we did have Jazz Chisholm start a couple of years ago. I think Young Keel and Jazz got the start last year. And it's nice to see another one of our guys get to start this year as well, as Adael Amador represents us yet again here in the great state of Texas, Houston, Texas, to beat Pacific. Kyle Bradish, a name that we might be looking to trade for. He starts for the American League. Adael Amador hitting .278 this season, having a really, really good year, already on pace to set some career highs, and this has popped up and into shallow right field. And that'll be it for him. Later on in the game, bottom of the third, he's now playing second base, a runner on first, and tailor-made double play situation. He'll flick his hips, turn over to shortstop, O'Neal Cruz there, and that will be it. Double play started by Adael Amador. Junior Caminero, he is the guy that is on Houston, was signed as a free agent. He looks like a front runner for the American League MVP, and he grounds out to Amador there. So showing off in the field a little bit. Like to see that. Amador will get a base knock up the middle on Ricky Tiedemann, and Amador for the second straight year does get a hit in the All-Star game. You'll love to see that. Love our guys showing off. Later in the game against former teammate Garrett Crochet, he gets a fastball high middle. This is high. This is deep. This ball is gone. A home run from Amador in the All-Star game. You definitely love to see stuff like that. And with 2 outs in the ninth, that will be his last at-bat. That will be his last plate appearance. But did get a nasty lefty and knock him out of the park. A guy that teammates with him for a half a summer. So you love to see that. Adael Amador showing off in the All-Star game. The American League does win, however. But he shows off for us, shows off for Rockies Nation everywhere. you'll love to see it. That was the Dale Amador's experience in the All-Star. Right after that Orioles game, which was kind of one of the first games after the All-Star break, here's what everyone looks like in terms of standings. 2 games now back by the Padres for the NL West, so they have gained 4 games on us over this stretch where we said, hey, we have a bunch of teams we can beat up on, and they've been beating up on us. It's been not great. Padres are hanging on. We are still above 500. We are actually now back of the wild card race. The Reds, Phillies, and Pirates all above us by 2 games. So we're going to go out and make a big trade, I would assume, in the coming days. Who it is, when it is, who knows, but it has to happen, especially after last year not doing what we wanted to do in the playoffs. We need to get some more horses in here, especially on the pitching side of things. Look at the National League wild card. Obviously, Pirates, Phillies, Reds are in our boat. The Marlins are catching up. And the Diamondbacks, Giants, Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, Cardinals, and Mets are kind of all out of it at the moment. In the American League, Rays kind of have the East on lockdown. The Central looks like it's going to be the Twinses, and the Astros and Mariners are fighting for the West for the wild card. Mariners, Guardians, and Royals. And now we're starting to kind of see other teams to add to the list of buyers, and it looks like a lot more American League teams. I doubt these teams under 500 are going to start buying, so we're going to add them to the sell list, and let's see if we can make a trade or 2. The first trade has come across my desk. We've been talking with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Originally offered us Adbert Alzolay for Jordan Nwogu. We're going to double that. Give them Gerardo Hernandez instead. Also, Ralph Yamashita. The prize of this deal, a pretty good outfielder in terms of potential. A little bit older, so not only are they getting a really good guy, but they're probably going to be able to have him very cheap for the majority of his career, who can be very good. They need help in the outfield. Behind Corbin Carroll and Drew Jones and Jake McCarthy, once those guys go, it's kind of barren out in their outfield for depth, at least for at the moment being. And we're going to pick up 2 bullpen arms, Ryan Helsley and Adbert Alzolay. They are on the list, the sellers list. They aren't going to be making the playoffs most likely. And the team that knocked us out last year is going to help us this year. I'm fine making this move. And we made the trade with the Diamondbacks official. All right, so that's July. I think 11-12 ended up being our record. And won against San Francisco. Did not pick up games against Cincinnati. Did not pick up games against New York. Did not pick up games against Cleveland, who now ended up jumping us. They're, I think, 42-42, and they really had a really good month. Baltimore were able to get up some wins against. Texas were able to get some wins again. We split against San Diego and got swept in this little 2-game series against the Dodgers. Not too great. Look at the standings. Half a game away from the Padres, though. So that is all right. That's fine. I would like to have that runs scored, runs allowed discrepancy be a little bit bigger. We were not able to go and swing. I was looking in the starting pitching market, especially Kyle Bradish. We just couldn't do it. Even if we offered our best pieces, they were not budging. I don't know why the Red Sox weren't going to be budging on something where we can give them some really good prospects. We have a lot of top 100 prospects. They did not want any of them. So, yeah, unfortunately, we were not able to strike a deal for a premier pitcher. Same thing, Ricky Tiedemann I looked into, and then I was like, if we're not going to get a pitcher of this caliber, I don't really want a pitcher of any other caliber than that. So that's kind of where we're at. In the wild card race, for a game and a half back, Nationals, Pirates, Reds, all above us. It is what it is. We look at the calendar to kind of see what we have to do in August. Decent test against the Angels. We have some more, games against some teams we could beat up. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati back-to-back here. Oakland, New York, San Francisco, and Toronto. Again, another month where we have 2 really good teams, and the rest we should win. Probably going to be looking into these series, especially how pivotal they're going to be for us. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati we're going to be playing, and those are probably going to be the games we'll be seeing next month, as well as some special moments and places here and there. Just looking ahead even more. Houston, really good. Chicago, average. Washington, a really good series. St. Louis, we can beat up on. Atlanta, we can beat up on. Then Arizona and the Dodgers. And now Arizona is not that far away from us. And they made a trade with us to get some of their bullpen arms. It's going to be a really tough month of September. We're going to be really looking in and seeing what's going down. If we look at some of our guys, of what our rotation looks like right now, Bobby White settling in. He's on a hot streak right now. J.J. Rose continues to be our most consistent pitcher this year. Bud Leonard, his numbers keep fluctuating. He's not going to have as good of a season as last year. Those home runs are coming down, though, and that FIP is starting to even out a bit. But still a 4.7 ERA. We'd like to see more. James Mora, it's a really weird season. He's putting up numbers. He's giving up runs. The FIP is a lot better. Still not great at 4.2. Home runs have been an issue. The walks have not, though, however. The strikeouts definitely have not been an issue. He's given up a lot of hits. 147 hits through 119 innings pitched. That's just been his kryptonite. Just getting base hits here, base hits there, and then struggling when you have guys in scoring position. So James Mora, thought was a slam dunk guy. Far from it, seems like. Be interesting to see if we can get that ERA under 5. I would love for it to happen. Rafael Parra starting to kind of hit that rookie wall. We'll see what he has, a 4.77 ERA. I don't know. FIP is 4.52, whatever. Vinny Garcia, Ryan Helsley's been fine with us through his couple of appearances on our end. I'm fine with this. Vinny Garcia. Bo Brisky, this year has not been kind to him, but it's relievers. You have 1 or 2 bad outings, and your whole season looks like it was ass. Alzolai's been fine. Pint's been great. Garcia still doing okay. Santos, and we weren't really able to get a shutdown closer. So we're going to roll with Calderon, who, again, has a FIP about 4.86. He's given up big home runs. You don't like that from your closer, but just weren't able to strike deals. And it takes 2 to tango. We tried everything we could. We were not able to secure a dominant closer. We did get guys with closer experience. The worst case scenario, if we have to throw Helsley out there, if we have to throw Alzolai out there, I'm not something we could look at. But that is what we're looking at. If we look at our the training, we look at our lineups. This is what we didn't really touch anything with the offense. I think our offense is going to be just fine. Chisholm in a little bit of a cold streak, but we have Dominic continuing his career here. We love to see that. Tovar starting to pick it up a bit, which is good to see. And yeah, we believe in Sterling Thompson. He's been fine. 4.700 OPS. That's great. Nolan Jones has been a superstar. Amador has been an all-star caliber guy. Stephen Kwan continues to do exactly what we need from him at the top of the lineup. Nolan Gorman dipped a little bit down, but still having a pretty 830 OPS Nolan Gorman type season. So yeah, let's just keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Do what we have to do. And let's just win. We just got to win. That's all it is. That's all it ever will be. We'll see you next time here for the Colorado Rockies.